came around to say hello. One-on-one, I'm so fly. You took a nosedive. Careful when you play on my level. For you, it's so. Hey, hello.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra. Flip the script.
Hello, Moto.
Abhijit Iyer-Mitra, what are the facts as you have ascertained on this entire Galwan standoff, where it is being said that the truth is being hidden because 2,000 square kilometers was handed over to China?
So, Navika, the first thing we need to remember in this article, which I have read so that you don't have to inflict it on your viewers, is that it is 90% of it is the author's own opinion, and every here and there he has taken quotes from the general to buttress his own opinion. And the clearest sign from it comes where it opens in August, where this tank movement happens up to Kailash. Mind you, it is completely decontextualized. The context comes much later in the entire article. This is something very classic. I've noticed this with all caravan articles. They tend to decontextualize and sensationalize something that simply hasn't happened. So it starts like this. At 8:15, these Chinese tanks start rolling. By 10:30, after 2 or 3 calls, so 2 hours and 15 minutes later, Rajnath calls the general and tells him, we leave it up to you. You're free to do what you want. The general then starts thinking, array, the onus is on me, etc., etc. Context again. This whole thing started in May. In June is where there was the deadly clash where 20 of our Jawans lost their lives. There had been July and August in between where there was a steady build-up. The preparations had been made, war plans had been made, everything had been made, and operational details will always be left to the general. It is normal for every general to ponder 10 times before he acts on everything. We don't even know where it has been taken from context, out of context, what context here, because throughout the author keeps editorializing left, right, and center. Mind you, I want to read out from the article itself. To be clear, at no point does General Naravane, he doesn't even say General Naravane, at no point does Naravane kya uska rishtedar hai to call him like that, he's the chief of army staff, use some respect. To be clear, at no point does Naravane criticize Modi. On the contrary, his memoir is replete with praise, often for minor gestures. Naravane recounts admiringly how Modi at one point pointed out that only essential lights were kept on in his office. So clearly, even the author who's peddling an agenda has to admit that Naravane is not criticizing the government, which is why I want to see the manuscript where it comes out.
Richard,
but
please.
That said, I want to point out some extraordinary glaring mistakes, factual errors, Navika, that are replete in this article, not in the general's account, not in citations from the general, but from the author himself. He says there was no imagery available. Even in 2025, imagery was rare and patchy. Navika, do you remember during that entire period I was coming over to your office every single day showing you extremely high resolution imagery? Now, just because the author doesn't want to refer to imagery, and if you remember during that entire period, these same people who were saying kagaz nahi dikhayenge during Balakot, they were saying sabut dikhao. When we started showing them the imagery, they were saying ye kuch nahi hota hai. They refused to even acknowledge the imagery here. Second, he says that this decisions were being taken by the China study group that had absolutely no constitutional standing and were extra wires to the constitution. Navika, the cabinet committees on security is also extra constitutional. It comes from the 1961 rules of business. If you can please bring up picture 3, I've sent it to you. It is the rules of business on the basis of, if you can bring up that graphic if possible.
Yes.
On the basis of which cabinet committees are constituted, and the prime minister is completely empowered as per those rules of business to constitute any ad hoc committee with any membership as he deems fit to deem with whatever the situation may be. Now imagine this is an author who teaches Indian constitutional history at Yale, and he doesn't even know this difference. Are you kidding?
Well, to base your opinion on an article, or on a magazine, and with due respect to any magazine, any media publication, I'm just saying that the track record has been that Jairam Ramesh has said he did not independently once check an article and quoted from this magazine and had to apologize.